So thought for the day. You know, I was on a Zoom with a great friend of mine named Paul. He lives in Portland with his wife and his 40-year-old daughter, who's severely handicapped, disabled. She was born with cri de coeur, and so she can barely walk. She can't speak. He's taught her how to sign, and she needs like 24-hour care. We Zoom once a month. Paul and me, he's a great friend of 50 years. And so he was telling me that the other night he was, almost every night, he rocks her on the front porch on this big old kind of bench swing. And he has her in her arms, and he's been doing that for 40 years since she was an infant. And big old gangly legs. Catherine is her name. She's a sweetheart. And he always sings these little ditties, you know, little songs. He makes up goofy songs, and she'll throw her head back laughing, and she'll sign for him to sing it again. He'll sing it again. And he said, well, you know, last night I was doing this for 2 hours. We're on the bench, and she was in a really bad mood. She was just holding her tight and singing the songs. And she said no, and she didn't want him to. And she would put the blanket over her head, and she was just in a bad mood. And so he said, I sat there and I just held her, and he was like filled with the utter fullness of God, he said. And he said, because I realized as I'm holding my 40-year-old PMS daughter in a really bad, foul mood, I realized, and his eyes well up with tears, that there's nothing missing here. And that's been sort of my mantra for the last couple of days. There's nothing missing here. For all the things we've survived, all the things we'll endure, there's nothing missing here. It reminded me of a homie named Mario, who I knew at Camp Page, who I went there to say Mass on a Sunday. There were about 50 homies in the gym, and before Mass I was talking to him, and he had a white shirt, button shirt with a black tie, and I was talking to him before, and he points over to this woman who his mom, a little short lady. She's sitting on a bench, and next to him is his older brother in his early 20s, and he's rocking, and he's severely autistic. And we go in and we do the Mass. Right in the middle of the Mass, his older brother, autistic brother, has a total meltdown. He starts to scream bloody murder, and he's rocking violently, and he's flaying his arms. And they try to calm him down, but it doesn't really work. So the brother, Mario, and his mom escort his brother outside. And Mario sneaks in to just make his first communion, but then he rushes out to be with his mom and brother, who missed the whole thing. Afterwards, I went over to him. I guess what I was expecting was he might say, oh damn, my brother, he just really ruined the whole thing. But he didn't. I saw him sitting there on the bench with his mom and his brother, and he was just crying. And he points at his brother and he says, there is no sin in him at all. And he said, he is the greatest gift that's ever come to our family. And the mom nods. She says, sí, es cierto. And what we have is enough. And there is nothing missing here. Not here, not out there, not in here. There's nothing missing here. And once you realize that, you're filled with the utter fullness. Amen.